Hello, Scorpio. It's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2025 general reading. We're looking at the first half of November. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Please do like and subscribe. And if you know any of your other sign placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, it's helpful to watch those as well. If something really resonates with you and you would like to take a deeper look at how it plays out in your own personal life and situation, or you simply like the reading style, if you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, please feel free to email me directly for more information. Maggie's @gmail.com. You can click on the description box below to see that contact info as well. I'd love to hear from you, and I can usually get back to you within 24 hours. I do offer lots of different reading types, different styles, length, costs, spreads. I cover all areas of life, love and romance, relationship compatibility, career, work, money, investment, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews. So if you're interested, please email me. I'm pretty diligent about timely scheduling of personal readings too. Okay, Scorpio, let's see what the first half of November 2025 looks like for you. Okay. We begin with the Five of Wands. Some conflict, perhaps. And conflict can be internal conflict, conflict within yourself, external conflict with other people. It can be competition, gossip, petty energy. We'll see what comes out with it. We have the Eight of Wands. Action, momentum, things taking off pretty quickly and fairly powerfully. It might be travel for some of you. We have the Ten of Coins, which speaks of longevity, long-term security and stability. It's the Ten of Earth. And there's a kind of a connection to home and family or inheritance. This often shows up in career, work, home, money. It speaks of having long-term security and stability that is there because of the long, slow accumulation of time and effort that went into it. Your crowning energy, meaning overall focus and theme for the first half of November, Scorpio, is the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is our happy home energy. So 10 in the tarot numerically represents the fulfillment of a cycle. It can represent an ending or simply the fulfillment, the coming full circle of something. The Ten of Cups is often considered the happy home, happily ever after card. It's a card that can represent a stable, happy home, family, marriage, children. So that's the focus for the first half of November 2025, Scorpio. And with the Ten of Coins along with that, which also has often a strong connection to home, family, inheritance, or family community. And there's some conflict here, and I feel like for a lot of you, the conflict is about longevity, long-term commitment and stability, and how it affects home and family or doesn't. It may be that you don't have this, and this is what you're focused on, and you're focused on perhaps making some changes in order to put yourself on the path of that. It could be that the conflict is about something that may have a significant impact on home and family. It might be travel. Let's take a look at the crowning energy of the Ten of Cups, which is the focus here. Okay. The Five of Wands again. Conflict about something, either about home, family, or something that affects home and family. Or the fact that you don't have either you have the Ten of Cups, whatever that means for you, and there's something that's challenging it or having some kind of negative effect on it, or you don't have this Ten of Cups energy, and you want that. We have Judgment and the Fool with that as well, two major arcana cards. So Judgment is basically a call to action. It says you can't, judgment shows up when there's a choice to be made, and you're being called to make that choice one way or the other. We're accountable. We're responsible for our choices. This is a call that spirit, that the universe is saying, you can't go on autopilot on this anymore. And then the Fool is the 0 card. Why? Because the Fool is the very first major arcana card in the tarot. The tarot is about the Fool's journey. We're the Fool, right? So it's the very first major arcana card. So this is where a whole brand new chapter, a whole brand new cycle begins. We go through many of these chapters in our life, right? Different phases in our life. So the Fool represents starting a brand new cycle, a brand new chapter, which means that we have to kind of step off the beaten path, the one that we've been kind of maybe walking on autopilot for a while. And it requires that we challenge ourselves, that we step off the beaten path into the unknown, that we take a chance on that, take a risk, take a chance. So there's conflict, and the conflict might be within yourself about whether or not this is the right thing to do. And the conflict might also be with other people who aren't on board with you or who don't see it the same way. So let's take a look at this conflict card because it's come out twice now. We have the Emperor, which is a fairly masculine energy. It can represent female because it can represent taking responsibility, being accountable for yourself. It can represent a husband, a partner, a boss, a judge. It's somebody in a position of seniority and status and the final decision maker. But with the Five of Wands, it can sometimes, this person, because for a lot of you, it may be represent another person with whom the conflict is. And it might be that they're very domineering, very, challenging. It may be that it's their way or the highway kind of energy. And that's where the conflict is. You want to do something. You want to start something new. You want to try something different. And this person is not in agreement with you. It also may be that you feel like you're taking on too much in the home, in a relationship, at work, something like that. And you don't want to take it all on your shoulders anymore. We have the Ace of Swords and the Hierophant. The Ace of Swords is about seeing something for the truth of what it really is. The epiphany, the light bulb going off over your head. And the High Priestess is about knowing. It's about intuition or gut instinct, if you prefer. And it's about taking that time to kind of step back and listen to that. There's a truth here that you acknowledge, that you recognize. And it may be that that the person who's also in this situation with you, be it a romantic partner or platonic or business or even a parent, because the Emperor can sometimes represent a father figure. There's conflict here. They're not in agreement here. But it's kind of like you feel like you can't go on autopilot anymore in this situation, whether it's a relationship, home, work, or the trying to balance all of that stuff. You see what you need to do. You see what the problem is, and you see what you need to do. There's an intuition and knowing about it. But again, conflict about that. Let's take a look at the Eight of Wands. In personal relationships, it may represent that you are, that the two of you perhaps are wanting different things in life here. There's a sense here of wanting to either acquire or maintain the longevity and health and long-term security and stability of a relationship, of a home and family unit. And it may be too much coming and going. In a romantic relationship, it may be that you're wanting that 10 of coins, wanting that 10 of cups, but your partner doesn't want that, or is back and forth and in and out. There's a lack of security and stability here, regardless of what the situation is. This is a general reading, right? So the specific details are always going to vary, but the fundamental energy remains the same. There's a desire for longevity, for long-term security and stability, for not, you know, it feels like you've gotten used to a situation where you don't have that and you just eventually kind of go on autopilot. But here it feels like something has come to a head and you know it needs to change. Let's take a look at that Eight of Wands. Action, momentum, movement, swift changes. Strength and the Nine of Swords. So there's some kind of action, change, choices that are being set in motion or propelled by your strength and your courage and your wisdom, even though there's also a great deal of stress about it. And it may be that the plans that you have or what you want to achieve, whether you're still in the consideration phase or whether you're actually acting them out, there's a fear here. And some of this might be related to financial and material issues as well. For some of you, making the change is going to require perhaps a financial risk or changes in your financial comfort zone, and you're not quite sure how that's going to work out. Some of you, this may be traveling, moving, and relocating as well to a new place, a new community. Let's take a look at this Ten of Coins. Because the Ten of Coins represents security and longevity that is lasting. The Ten of Cups again. So we have two repeating cards, which is why I always clarify with a different deck to see if Spirit wants to point at, more energy. We have the conflict card of the Five of Wands twice. We have the Ten of Cups, that happy home card, that feeling like all the pieces are finally connected, right? There's strife and conflict about this, about not feeling secure in this area of life. Temperance and the Devil, two very opposite energies, and it speaks of a struggle between materialism and perhaps what is true. Being true to ourselves in terms of what we want to pursue, in terms of our joy, our long-term security and stability. It may be here that you find yourself in an uncomfortable or unhappy situation, but it does provide some, material things, some physical things, and you're maybe afraid to step out of that because you're not sure what lies on the other side. I feel like, again, there's this struggle, and even though it may very well be conflict with an external person or persons, it also feels very much like there's a struggle inside of you as well. Like wanting something new, wanting to start on a new journey, a new cycle, a new chapter, but also being afraid and concerned about stepping away from something that, while may not have been your ideal, it did still provide some kind of base or foundation, and that base or foundation may be material or financial as well. So it's kind of a push and pull, push and pull. Do I compromise myself for this little bit, or do I step out and take a chance? Advice, guidance, feedback from Spirit. Two of Swords. It's a tough choice, but it's a choice that needs to be made on a mental level and an intuitive level, intellectual and intuitive, which means that you have to look at the facts of the history, not how you feel about it, not what you wanted it to be or want it to be, but on the facts. What are the black and white facts, the practical things? And also, what is your intuition telling you? Because remember, we have the High Priestess with that Ace of Swords here. So you know what the problem is, and it feels like there's a knowing about what the solution is. You're afraid your options might be limited and it's a tough choice, but it also feels like internally you know which avenue is the best one to take. Eight of Swords and the Moon. Don't allow yourselves to be held hostage in a situation, although it's kind of more you than anything else. The Eight of Swords is a card about somebody that feels trapped, right? that they're in a situation which they don't like, but they're telling themselves they can't leave the situation because of this, that, or the other thing. Or they're telling themselves they can't affect a positive change because of this, that, or the other thing. Swords is governed by air, which governs our intellectual landscape. So what's keeping you trapped here, Scorpio, is the idea or perception that the challenges you might face by taking a new path, a new cycle, that Fool card, right? You're afraid that there's going to be challenges or failures. You're afraid it's going to be too hard. So you give yourselves all kinds of reasons, excuses, and justifications for why you can't, right? When actually it's literally just fear of the unknown that's keeping you trapped there and nobody else. It's our own head, our own thoughts. The unknown, right? It's about, we're afraid of the unknown. This moon card, it's shadowy. There's a lot of hidden corners and hidden nooks under the light of the moon. That tree in the backyard, which is just a tree in the daytime, can look like a monster at night, right? So it may be deep-seated fears kind of becoming magnified, and you're allowing that to be the thing that keeps you trapped. The Hermit and the Ace of Cups represents going through a powerful kind of transformation and knowing phase. It represents kind of waking up to your own value and self-love as well, and it's about kind of opening yourself up to the idea that there's a new and different path in front of you, and you know this. So, free will, free agency, but it feels like Spirit is also supporting a new journey and a new cycle. Whether or not people are on board with it, with you or not. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, Scorpio. Those are your messages for the first half of November 2025. And I hope that for those of you for whom they resonated and hit home, that it was helpful for you. Again, if it resonated, if something hit home with you and you'd like to pull the curtain back on it and explore what it means in your own personal life and situation, or you just like the reading style, if you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, please email me, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. You can also click on the description of this video below to see that information as well. I would be delighted to work with you. I will see you all in a little while. Stay safe, well, be blessed. Hope to see you back here again soon. If you like this, please do like and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.